Coming up, I build a fully automatic honey farm with a limestone generator. I also catch some bees, fiddle with junk loading, and run into something I didn't expect in the Nether. Let's create. In the last episode, I built a big old workshop for all of my create stuff, and I powered it with a big old steam engine. And today, I'm probably going to be getting another quest? Quest? Huh, no quest. And no Roxy? Where's Roxy? Oh, gee. Oh, there it is. There's the knock. Yep, I've got mail, but where's Roxy? Oh. Hey, Roxy. Hey, did you just see you sat out here, did you see who put the quest there? Oh, really? Who was it? You're not going to... What? Maybe it's you giving me the quests. Anyway, it's time to get a quest and find out what we're going to be doing today. Hooray. What's it going to be? Quest 5. Quest, honey and lime. Sick of mining for limestone? I am. You can get it from bees. Build an automated limestone factory so you never have to go mining again. Never have to go mining again. That's amazing. For limestone. Oh, okay, fair enough. What's the side quest? Free-range bees. You'll need a honey farm for your limestone factory. Avoid keeping bees in tiny spaces. Let them free roam a bit. But be careful. They do like to wander. Yeah, bees have a nasty habit of heading to 0-0 when you leave them outside. So I'm going to have to keep them in somehow. Right, anyway, I've made some changes to the workshop since the last episode. So let's go over there and check those out. And on the way, we'll take a quick stop into the lighthouse because I've finally filled it with iron. As you can see, my void mode box is voiding off the iron now because we've got so much. Oh, it's not very efficient, your iron farm, FoxyNoTail. You should make it better. So inefficient, it's only given me over a stack and a half's worth of iron blocks between one episode. Yes, very inefficient iron farm. So now that we've got all of that iron, we can now head over into the workshop and see what I've been up to. And currently, as you can see, I've put a whole bunch of stuff in, but it's all turned off. And that's because I had a few issues with my charcoal system keeping up with the generator. And that's because of random ticking. You see, even though I've force loaded these chunks, unless a player is nearby, trees won't grow and crops won't grow, which means my little power station will keep on using the charcoal and burning through it, but we won't get any more because the system's not running. And in order to load those chunks, I was using FTB chunks, but I'm not anymore. I've added something new to my mod called the chunk wand, which effectively does the same thing as FTB chunks, but instead of just loading chunks, I can also force tick chunks as well, like this one that's highlighted in yellow will force tick these trees, whereas this one that's highlighted in green doesn't do any force ticking, it just loads the chunk. It's not actually available publicly just yet, but it will be when we do the next world download. So if you want this, then you can get it, and all you need to do is come to a new chunk, click it, and then you can force load it, click it again to turn it into force ticking, and then click it again to turn it off. And if you don't want any of your force loaded chunks loaded, but you want to remember where they are, you can shift and click and turn them all off, and then shift and click to turn them all on again. And since adding that in, this thing has been non-stop running, and because we've had the little power station off, it started to generate a little bit of charcoal again. But I'm going to have to turn it on so that I can show you what I've been building. Starting with our precision mechanism contraption, which we actually built in the last episode. I've moved it over to there. I've also added in a little smasher here for pressing ingots and things into sheets. Over here we've got a little system for stripping logs. As I'll demonstrate now, we put those on there and that strips all of those, and then this little system here will take whatever items are in these brass funnels, put them in there, and then that will mix up whatever's in there, spit it out into here, for instance like brass or andesite alloy, and I can collect all of that in there. And the final thing in here is just a smelter. We can take something like cobblestone, shove it in there, that's going to come through here, get smelted, and then end up in here as stone. So all of the basic things that I need I've now got en masse, and that means I've now got a ridiculous amount of andesite alloy, and I've now got a ridiculous amount of andesite casing and shafts. So that's the workshop all done. Everything is running nicely, so it must be time to build a honey farm. And in order to build a honey farm, I'm going to need bees, and there were bees over on this island in this direction. In fact, bringing up the map, you can see there's a whole bunch of bees over here, and there's also a dog, and that dog's been there a long time, so I don't know if I've tamed it, but it seems to be persistent. It's not tamed, it's also not... Oh, no, it is moving. And here is a bee on some flowers. And here's another bee on some flowers. And here is a bee nest, which I can take just like that and then take over to wherever I need to put it. And for now, I'm going to put this bee nest upstairs because the problem with bees is they'll always try and wander off to 0, 0, and I really don't want them wandering off. Now, that's got 2 bees in it. I don't want them flying out of that window, and I don't really want them escaping through there. Now, they might end up wandering off downstairs, but I don't think they will. And one way I can potentially reduce the likelihood of that happening would be to put some trapdoors along here in order to confuse their pathfinding. Now we just need some more bees. Oh, speaking of bees, hello, sir. And now... Oh. Huh. It's... What? It's Invisibee. I'd assume I've still got this bee because I can see its bum, but when I turn around, it's invisible. Something not quite right there. But anyway, bee, you can now live up here. Oh, there's one trying to escape. Look, there you go. And that's gone in there. So now we've got 3 bees. This is good. So we could just breed up from here, but I'm going to need some bee hives. And for that, I need honeycomb, which I could get from that bee nest after a little while, or I could just go and see if I can find some more bee nests and double my chances. And there's no more bees on the map. I refuse to believe that there is only 1 bee nest on this entire island. It is impossible. There must be at least more than 1. But having wandered around until I'm pretty much starving to death, I really haven't found any more. So I guess we're going to have to make do with what we've got, which means I'm going to need a little bit of dirt and a nice little azalea bush. And now those bees should be very interested in that bush, and they should hopefully get me lots of honey. But I need to get that honey without getting stung. I've lost a bee already. Why have I only got 2 bees now? Where's me other bee? Oh, it's here. How did you get down here? Come here. Oi, no bees downstairs. You live up here, look, there's a flower and everything. So we'll just have a temporary little thing to stop them going downstairs. Now, unless they can glitch through blocks, I can't see them getting downstairs anymore. First things first, I need a campfire, and let's just pop that there for a second. Pick that up, put it above the campfire, and then do our best to stop the bees ending up on the campfire. Let's give it a go. Cheers. Oh, it worked. Oh, we didn't get upset. And I got 3. So now I can make a beehive and then breed some bees and get even more bees. Hey, bees. I got you a hive, mate. Where's your friends? Are they all at... No, they're all at home. There we go. We got an achievement and a baby bee. Here, have a flower. And a little while later, we now have 3 bee hives, 1 bee nest. These have got 3 bees in. That's got 2 bees in. And that's plenty for us to be getting on with for a honey farm. But of course, I don't want the honey farm in the top of my workshop. It's going to need its very own building. And I think that means it's time I started planning out what I'm going to be building. Not just a honey farm, but also a limestone factory as well. And I'm thinking a row of sort of almost cottagey looking buildings along this part here, with maybe a garden outside for the bees. But I need to design a garden which makes sure the bees can't escape but still gives them room to fly around, and also not get stuck on things with pathfinding. So there we go, we've got a lovely little cottage. I don't think that's come out too badly. The only thing that I'm not overly impressed with is my little bee sanctuary. You see, they've got a lot of this latticey trellis stuff going on here, and I've tried to give them a bit of room on the inside using pipes underneath the beehives in order to get the honey out, but it's a big square box and I don't like it. I also want these cottages to have gardens out the back here, and I think I want to integrate that better into one of the gardens. But there's no point in me doing all of that on this creative world. I might as well do that on the main world once I've actually got this building built and I know where everything's gonna go. But before we go back to my survival world, I do want to get a schematic of this building so that I know exactly what blocks I'm gonna need, and I think that should just about cover it. And just like that, it's gone, and I've got a whole bunch of work ahead of me. And the first thing I'm gonna do is figure out exactly where we're gonna be having these cottages. Somewhere a little bit like that should do it, and then if I put that in there and put my clipboard in there, it's gonna tell me what I need. And I need a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm gonna do a little bit of resource gathering, get all that together, and then get this built. Well, I've gathered everything I need apart from one thing. It's actually a couple of different things, but they're all made out of the thing I'm missing, and that is the crimson cottage door and the crimson strip windows. And I don't have any crimson wood at all. Now, obviously, in the last episode, I went over to the Nether to get a load of warped wood, and it looks like this time we're going to be doing the same thing again, but this time for crimson wood. So map-wise, I've decided to dig across here towards this wart forest because I think a wart forest is most likely to have the wart trees that I'm looking for. But that's not the type of tree that I'm looking for. That said, there's a bunch of stuff here that I've never had before, so let's go see what it all is. We've got some soul lilies. Can I pick it up? Oh, apparently I get it twice. Okay. We've got some basalt stalactites, which are not really anything I need, and some wart logs, which again are not really anything I need, but I might as well collect a few. So I think it's time to head back to my tunnel and start digging in a different direction. Well, I've been scrabbling about in the Nether for well over an hour now, digging in all sorts of different directions, looking for any sign of a crimson biome, and so far I found nothing. However, I have come across this interesting looking structure, which has portals at either side, so I kind of want to check that out. It's got fortressy style blocks in it. Oh, a fortress, no, a citadel. Oh dear. Well, that doesn't sound good. I guess we need to break our way in. Oh, there's one of them King Blaze things that was in the mob vote that didn't get through. Oh my goodness. I think as soon as I pop down there, I'm going to be done for. Whoa. Okay, it got me. How much health has it got? Oh my goodness. And I'm stuck in a block. A lot. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, 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 no. Ooh. I've got a bow and arrow. Whoa. Ow. Okay, you can still get me through that. That's not ideal. Got him. I've only got like 12 arrows though. Must have done some damage to him though. And that's it, I'm out of arrows. The only way I'm going to get him now is to get over there to him. How much health have you got? 120, and he's not even damaged. Yo, I'm getting out of here. Those arrows did nothing. So now that we know not to go in there, and now that I've uncovered even more map, it looks like there's still no crimson forest biome anywhere in this direction. So building the cottage of my dreams is gonna be a problem. How can you see me from there? Ow, if I could find myself some of the right nylium, and if I had silk touch, then at least I could grow the funguses that I've got. But yeah, I can't even find any of that. Well, that wasn't really much of a success. So for now, I think I'm going to stick with the warped windows and doors, and hopefully we can get some of the crimson stuff in future. And with that decision made, it was time to activate the schematic cannon and get these cottages built. Which all went swimmingly until it ran out of gunpowder right before the end. So I topped it up, it finished throwing down the blocks, and then... Bruh. With the giant creeper hole now filled in, I put in all of the missing windows, removed the excess grass from inside the building, and threw down a temporary tough block floor. And now it was time to fix the landscape. I started by removing a bunch of grass and dirt, leveling out the terrain behind the building, followed by creating a gravelly path around the sides. Once that was in, I threw down some fences to mark out the cottage gardens, but I may have made them a little bit big, which meant dealing with even more landscaping. At this point, it occurred to me that these cottages should really be split down the middle, which meant adding in a couple more doors and moving a few bits around like the windows so each cottage had its own entrances, exits and its own garden. Which meant tearing down the fences I'd just put in, doing even more landscaping to fit them in behind the cottages properly and then making them substantially smaller. With the fences moved, I took some time to tidy up the pathwork at the front of the cottage, and I took a little longer tidying up the cottage structure with some glow lichen and a few flowers dotted in the window boxes. I then finished off the gravel path around to the front of the cottage and added a few little bushy bits of decoration to the grassy areas outside the fences. Before starting on the gardens, I planted a whole bunch of oak saplings so the trees would surround the backs of the gardens, making them feel more secluded and interesting. And while those started growing, I began working on the first garden, which I wanted to be a gardener's garden, including a little pond, some benches to sit on, a veggie patch for growing their own vegetables, as well as a little hard standing storage area at the back, some flower beds and a couple of flower pots dotted about as well. And with that garden done, it meant it was time to tackle the beekeeper's garden. A decidedly more scruffy looking garden with less focus on flowers and shrubs and a lot more focus on the bees. And yes, it's still a square boxy looking bee sanctuary, but it's a lot nicer looking than it was before. At least in my opinion anyway. Well, isn't this all starting to look rather fancy? Even if it doesn't have red doors and windows. I'm very happy with what I've done here. I think the building looks great. Inside, still got plenty of room for us to build things, I guess. And the gardens, I'm really happy with as well. I think they've come out really nicely. I love this little one with the pond and the little gardeny bits. And this one for the beekeepers doesn't look too bad as well. And I think this actually fits in quite nicely now that we've got trees and all that sort of stuff around, because it kind of blends in and doesn't look quite so much of an ugly big box. Now inside we still need the beehives and the pipes and things like that, and obviously to turn it into a honey farm. But before we get onto that, it's been another day since I built all of this, and because of that my charcoal overflowed and so did my iron. So what I've done for my charcoal system is to put on a threshold switch, and what this does is prevent the tree system from chopping down any trees because, well, they were just all over the floor. Hundreds and hundreds of logs and sticks and apples, for some reason they hadn't despawned, were just all over the floor around here, so I picked them all up and I've put them away, and I've made this stop when it's full, which is very handy, which now means that this can run full time and my charcoal is always just going to be there. It's great. Now what I could do is just set this to void mode to void stuff away, and that would save me needing a threshold switch, but using the threshold switch for things like contraptions is good because then it stops everything being laggy when it's not in use. In terms of iron, we've now got a whole bunch of iron, which is great for future projects, but for this project I need copper because we need to make pipes and tanks and things, so I suppose I should get a bunch of this copper, turn it into ingots, maybe not quite so many as that, and stick a whole bunch of them on my little press to get these pressed. Now while these are all getting squished, I'm going to take some of that wood that we just found and I'm going to turn these all into barrels, and we're going to have lots of barrels, 3 stacks of barrels in fact, and with these sheets and these barrels we can make a whole bunch of tanks and a whole bunch of pipes and a handful of pumps. I'm also going to get a bunch of these logs stripped, replace those cogs there with some copper ingots, and then put a whole bunch of stripped logs in there that are going to get turned into copper casing, which are going to end up in here. And back at the bee sanctuary, first thing I'm going to do is get rid of these vines that have grown over the door, remove all of this dirt from there, remove all of this stone from here, dig a hole in the floor, and then we need a little tunnel that goes all the way over to underneath the house. And I think just about here should do it. Yeah, there we go, we're in the house. Then all we need to do is run a whole bunch of pipe all the way along here, and then these pipes just need to come along here like this, and they're going to attach to the bottom of our beehives. And there we go, moving the pipe around a little bit, we're now connected to exactly where I want it, but this pipe's going to need pumps and power, and that means digging another hole all the way over to where the power station is, which is basically in that direction. So I need to grab a hold of this somehow and get it down there, and I think the best way of doing that would maybe be to do it outside, just have it coming down the wall out here. So where can I steal that from? There's a gearbox there, which I think is the other side of this. It is. So all we need to do here then is grab a bit of shaft there, stick a gearbox on there, do a little bit of digging here, and we'll just send that power down the side of the building. We can make that look a little bit tidier with a couple of brackets on the wall, bit of casing there to disguise that, and that doesn't look too awful, I don't think. And that, conveniently, is directly in line with the tunnel that I've just made, which is going to make it nice and easy to connect all the way over to where our honey farm's going to be. And now all we need to do is take out a chunk of that, put a pump in facing in the right direction, and then just pop a cog on there, and now our pump is powered. Now of course at the back of this thing there's a big open hole, and when I put the beehives on here there is a chance, although the bees should never fly out the back of a beehive, but there is a small chance the bees might fly out the back of the beehive. So in order to try and prevent that from happening, what I need to do is just stick a little bit more of this lattice stuff under there like that, and that way we can block the back of those. And I'm also going to do the same thing at the front here so that the bees can't fly out as soon as I put the beehives down and then, you know, escape out of the doors that are going to be open, because those doors are going to need to be open for me to carry the beehives over here. So it's time to move the bees over, and we're going to start with this one because it's only got 2 bees in it, so I'm going to pick it up and just carry it over there. And if I've done everything correctly, those bees should stay inside, and that should connect to there, which it has done. The pump is attached to that, so it should technically be pumping honey, although it's got nowhere to go, so we should put the tank on the other end so it's got somewhere to go. So let's just build a little bit of a tank just there like that for our honey, and let's see if that's going to start pumping it. Oh, it's only got 3 out of 5 honey, that's why it's not going anywhere. Right, I better go get the other beehives. I'm going to use one of these as well, and the reason for that is because I'm going to have all hives. I don't really want to nest there, so somehow we've got to get the 3 bees out of there and get them into that hive, but we'll figure that out in a minute. Okay, this one has honey in. Is it going to get pumped? Oh, it isn't. It's in the pipe. It's working. I've got autonomous bee farming achievement. That should mean it's coming through. There it is. We've got honey in the tank. It's working. Right, and here's technically the last bee hive, but we've still got the bee nest to bring in. But there we go. Lots and lots of honey coming through now. And I didn't think this through. I haven't put anything to stop the bees getting out of the bee nest when I place it down. So I guess I'm going to have to place it fast and then turn around quickly and oh no, I picked that up. No, I don't want to. Oh geez, I picked up a block. Put the block down. Why won't it? There we go. Okay. So we've got some loose bees in here now. Now the doors are closed. I can get rid of these. Let the rest of the bees out. There we go. Tidy up the bottom of those pipes if I can get to... Oh, geez. Tidy up the bottom of those pipes if I can get to them. Thank you, bees. There we go. And now we've got a little bee sanctuary with a little bee nest in it as well. Now, are they going to struggle pathfinding in here? I'm hoping not. I'm hoping they're going to be able to make it back to their hives. There's plenty of stuff for them to get honey from in terms of flowers, but this one looks like it's trying to get through that lattice or trellis or whatever it's called into that leaf block. Come on, bees, come out of your little hive. Oh, that one went home. That's good. Oh, this one's full of honey. That's good. That one's gone home. Excellent. There we go. Right, they're all away in there. That's got 3 in, so I'm going to block that one off. That's got 3 in, so I'm going to block that one off. Now there's just 2 in there and none in there, so we need all 3 bees out of there and into there. It's just a waiting game. Well, the bees all popped out at once and I picked up the hive in a panic, but there's not a lot I can do. There we go. All the 3 bees are in there. That can go back on there. I can close these doors and now we can let all of the bees free to do whatever the bees need to do. Although we do need to breed up 1 more bee because we've got 1 less than we should have for this number of hives. You want to make babies? There you go. There we go. We've now got all the bees we need to fill up all of these hives, which should start generating us plenty of honey for our little tank of honey. That means our bee farm is 100% done, and we've already got 1 bucket of honey in there. And for a limestone farm, that's all I need. And that's because a limestone farm is just a cobblestone generator, but instead of having what? Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh, no, jeez. And that's because a limestone farm is basically just a stone or a cobblestone generator, but instead of having the water there, you just have honey. So that means we just need to get 1 bucket of honey out of here, and the way I'm going to do that is with a pump on there, a spout there, a depot underneath it. I'm going to throw my bucket onto there. I'm going to put a cog there and my little hand crank on there, and I'm just going to wind that until that honey goes into the bucket. There we go. And now we've got a bucket of honey. So if I replace that water with some honey, eventually that's going to wash its way over here and we're going to start creating limestone. There we go. So all I've got to do now is just automate this process so that I don't have to stand here and waste my pickaxe. How hard could it be? It's a bee joke. It was a bee joke. Well done. You picked up on the bee joke, mate. All right, before we do anything else, though, I just want to wind that honey back into that tank. I'm going to move all of this around because I think it would be a good idea to be able to get our honey out over here. And then we need to figure out the layout of this building and how we're going to have our limestone generator automatically mine the limestone and end up in a nice little storage box. And I've already got one of those inside of the lighthouse, which is the cobblestone generator for our iron farm. And it really doesn't take up all that much room at all. In fact, that's it. There's like 6 blocks, a mechanical drill, a little bit of power, and at the moment that's just coming down a chute into a storage box. So this isn't going to take up much room at all. You could make a really big one. I could make a really big one, but considering how ridiculously efficient my little iron farm is, and realistically how much limestone I'm actually going to need, we really don't need this to be a big one, which is good because then I can decorate the rest of these cottages to actually be like cottages, and then they'll look like cottages. Could squeeze it in here. I could literally just have this as my little limestone factory in here and then just have the cottages as full actual cottages. Yeah, I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. And just like that, it was done, and it just happens to be going at the perfect speed, at the speed it's already going at, which is fantastic. It's all going rather well. Now, obviously, I am going to need a system to stop it once it's reached a certain amount, because anytime Create is placing or breaking blocks, it creates a lot of lag. So I don't really want to just rely on void mode on here. I want to add in a threshold switch, which means I need a little bit of brass casing, a couple of redstone links, a clutch, and of course a threshold switch. In fact, the way I've designed this, I don't actually even need the threshold switch. If I delete that block and that block there, put my little clutch in at that point there and put the threshold switch directly looking into that box, that's going to activate that. When this box gets to 75% full, it's going to turn off that clutch, which is going to stop that. And then when it drops down to below 25%, it'll start again. So now I've got all of this space here to make a lovely looking cottage interior. Oh, geez, I've got to craft up loads of furniture and stuff. Oh, geez. I guess I'll be back with you guys in a minute. So just a couple of hours later, and all of the interiors are done, and we've even got a whole new cottage now. This is now 3 cottages and that little workshop at the end, and I was going to replay me doing all of the decoration, but because it's inside and in tight spaces, it didn't look very good. So I'm just going to show you around instead, starting with this little cottage here. This is the one that links into our little limestone farm, which you can see is already full enough to have stopped itself, and it's relatively basic. We've got a nice little kitchen area here with an oven hood thingy-mabob over the stove. We got some cupboards, some racks to store things, some more little oak cabinets, a dining room table with some plates and cups and chairs, and everything else is going to be pretty similar because, well, I've only really got oak to play with at the moment. I don't really have any other types of trees other than birch, and the birch stuff just didn't look very good. So let's head up the stairs. Got a nice tight little corridor here, and going into our first bedroom, we've got some paintings on the walls, we've got some wardrobes, we've all got these canvas rugs around to make it a little bit softer. We've got limestone beds because I've got no wall at all, so I need to replace all of these limestone bits with some actual beds. But then we've got some bedside tables, a nice little windowsill here, and then we've got the small bedroom here, which is a little bit tighter. It's only got a single bed made out of limestone. Again, another painting, some wardrobes, a flower pot, and I think all of that looks pretty nice. So that's one little cottage done. Heading outside and going into the next one, it's going to be pretty similar the other way round. A slightly different table and chairs this time, slightly different painting. We've got another little kitchen area here with bread bins and chopping boards and bread baskets. We've got some more storage and cupboard space over here. And again, upstairs is pretty similar, but the other way round. So we're back into the small room. It's exactly the same as the other one, but the other way round. And the big room is pretty much exactly the same as the other one, but the other way round. So that brings us into our last cottage, which has got a much bigger downstairs area. So the downstairs is pretty nice. We've got a nice big kitchen area with plenty of stuff going on, plenty of storage space over here, a nice rug as you walk in through the front door, tables and chairs and baskets and cups and all that sort of good stuff. But upstairs in this one's a lot smaller because the roof's a lot lower. So we've got this tiny little tight corridor here with the big windows there looking over outside. And then we've got these 2 tiny weeny little bedrooms, again with limestone for beds, little bedside table, little wardrobe, little rug next to the bed, and the other one is exactly the same. Hardly any room in here at all, but big enough for a couple of people to sleep in. So that's it. That is the 3 little cottages, all 100% complete with 100% completed interiors, 100% completed gardens, and 100% completed honey and limestone farms. And I think it all looks really, really good altogether.